The Seamstress's Secret. The cottage smelled of lavender and clean linen, always filled with the gentle hum of a needle pulling through fabric. Margaret's hands moved with practiced ease as she stitched, her daughter Eliza beside her, hemming sleeves with a steady hand. "Eliza, mind your stitches," Margaret reminded, her tone soft but precise. "They are even, Mamma," Eliza answered with a little smile. "Not as swift as yours, but I am improving." "You have a gift for it," Margaret said, though she secretly thought her daughter's real gift was not in sewing but in her bearing. Eliza carried herself with a grace Margaret knew she had not inherited from her. There was something proud, almost aristocratic, in her every gesture. The neighbours often remarked, "She looks more like a lady than a seamstress's child." Margaret always smiled politely, but her heart tightened each time. For Eliza's face was not just lovely, it was a mirror of someone Margaret had known well in her youth. Years before, Margaret had worked at Harwood Castle. She had scrubbed floors, polished silver, and attended to the needs of the Earl's household. At that time, the Earl was a widower, mourning his wife. In those lonely months, Margaret had caught his notice, not because she was extraordinary, but because she was kind, and he was human. It had been brief, a closeness born of circumstance, but it left Margaret with child. Terrified of scandal and ruin, she had fled the castle before her condition was known. She raised Eliza in silence, telling no one, not even the Earl himself. The town's modiste's shop was bright with silks and muslins, the air perfumed with fabric starch and lavender sachets. One spring morning, Eliza carried a parcel of gowns there for her mother. She stood quietly near the counter, smoothing a ribbon display while waiting. At that moment, Lady Catherine, the Earl's sister, entered. Tall, proud, with eyes that missed little, she scanned the room and paused when she saw Eliza. She whispered to her companion, "Do you see that girl? Her face, there is something about it." Eliza turned slightly, and Lady Catherine caught her profile. It was like being struck. The high brow, the arched cheekbones, the firm yet delicate chin, all unmistakably familiar. "She looks just like Mamma," Lady Catherine murmured, astonished. Her companion frowned. "Like the Dowager? Impossible. That girl is a seamstress's daughter." But Lady Catherine could not shake the impression. That evening, Lady Catherine told her mother, "She was the very image of you in your youth, Mamma." The resemblance was uncanny, thoughtful. The Dowager Countess raised her brows. "Nonsense. No village girl can resemble me. You were dazzled by the light or by your imagination." "Come and see for yourself," Catherine insisted. A few days later, the Dowager accompanied her to the modiste's. When Eliza entered with more gowns, the older woman's breath caught. It was as though her own reflection at 19 had stepped into the room. "Good heavens," the Dowager whispered. Then she saw Margaret. Recognition flashed across her stern face. You were a maid in my household. Margaret, was it not? You left suddenly." Margaret dipped into a shaky curtsy. "My lady?" The Dowager's voice was sharp. "This girl, she bears my very likeness. There is no mistaking it. Tell me the truth. Who is her father?" Margaret's hands trembled as she clasped them together. "I never wished to deceive my lady. Eliza is the Earl's child. I left because I feared ruin, and I sought no fortune nor claim." Eliza gasped softly. "Mamma." "Yes, my love," Margaret whispered, tears brimming. "He is your father, the Earl of Harwood." Eliza staggered back, her heart racing. She had grown all her life believing her father long dead. Now she was told she was the daughter of a nobleman, her face proof enough in the Dowager's eyes. When Lady Catherine told her brother, the Earl at first roared with disbelief. "A daughter? Mine? And all these years hidden?" His hands clenched. "Do you mock me?" "She is the very image of mother in her youth," Catherine insisted. "See her once and you will know," the Dowager herself said quietly. There can be no doubt. I saw her. I saw myself in her face. The Earl was shaken. To hear his mother so certain, there could be no denial. Still, he demanded to meet the girl. Eliza was brought to Harwood Castle. The vast hall seemed to swallow her as she entered, Margaret at her side. The Earl stood tall, his expression stern. He studied her, and the resemblance was undeniable. The same fine lines, the same composure that marked the dowager. At last he spoke, voice low. "You mine. There can be no doubt. I should have known, but I did not. For that, I beg forgiveness." Eliza steadied herself. "My lord, I have lived 19 years without a father. I do not know how to begin now." The Earl's voice softened. "Then let us begin as strangers who long to know one another." "I have much to atone for," the castle whispered. Servants muttered in corners and guests raised brows. Lord Edmund, the Earl's legitimate son, paced angrily. "She is nothing but a seamstress's child," he snapped to Lady Catherine. "Why should she be acknowledged? She will take what is mine." Catherine replied sharply, "She asks for nothing. Do not let jealousy blind you." Still, Edmund was not comforted. Society too buzzed with scandal, yet the dowager was firm. "I see myself in her. If I claim her, none shall dare deny her." Then fate struck. Margaret fell ill, confined to her bed. Eliza wept quietly as she bathed her mother's brow. "Do not leave me, Mamma," she whispered. When the Earl came bringing physicians, Eliza stiffened. Yet his tenderness was unmistakable. He stayed by Margaret's side, urging the doctors. "Spare no effort. She is the mother of my child." Margaret, weak but smiling, touched his hand. "I feared disgrace. But you show me kindness I did not expect," she whispered to Eliza softly. "Do not turn away from him, my love. I made mistakes, but you need not suffer for them." When Margaret's health improved, the Earl gathered his household. Standing beside Eliza, he declared, "This is my daughter. The blood of my line runs in her veins. Look at her and see my mother's very likeness. There can be no denial." There was silence, then murmurs, but the dowager rose to stand beside her granddaughter. "I see myself in her, and I will hear no whisper against her name." Even Edmund, after days of brooding, bowed stiffly. "If my grandmother accepts her, then I will not oppose her." From then on, Eliza's life shifted. She still stitched gowns with her mother, but she also walked the halls of Harwood Castle, no longer a stranger. She had not sought fortune, yet she had gained something greater, the truth of her birth, her father's love, and her grandmother's pride. The Earl visited often at their cottage, sometimes in simple clothes, speaking gently with Margaret and Eliza. It was not the pomp of nobility, but the bond of family being mended. Thus, after years of secrecy, a family long divided was made whole again, through truth, forgiveness, and the unmistakable resemblance of a girl to her grandmother. The end. Pray accept my gratitude, dear viewer, for accompanying us through this tale. I trust it has brought you some measure of delight. If the story has pleased you, kindly grace us with your thoughts and do subscribe to this channel that you may be promptly notified when further romances and adventures are unveiled. Until our next meeting, I remain most obliged to you.